large number of people who are deprived of what they need to have in life. Now, that is not democracy that will endure. So if you are talking of democracy failing in Africa, democracy in Africa has failed. And why has it failed? Because it didn't have any, in context and in content, it's not African. It does not have any aspect of our culture, our way of life, what we stand for, what we believe. Ubuntu. I am because we are. It is I am because I can grab. What sort of democracy brings you and you grab everything and then illegally, corruptly, and you say go to court? When you know that even in the court, you cannot get justice. So if democracy is not that democracy is failing, democracy is dying. And if we are going to make democracy not to die, we have to look at democracy in the context and in the content of Africa. I hope that we will get to that stage so that democracy, which will deliver, will be the democracy that we will have in Africa. Thank you.
Obasanjo, the man that destiny brought back from the range of death, and the power that be, the owners of Nigeria, made him president of Nigeria the second time. And he had a golden opportunity to put Nigeria on the right track, conduct a free and fair election, conduct a referendum where people can actually write their own constitution and approved by them on how they want to still be part of this contraption or not. He had those opportunities and he blew them. He blew them. For some of you can remember Elbert Gobadia in 2007. Which one comes first? Gobadia, Maurice Iwu? It was Maurice Iwu, I think. Obasanjo conducted the worst election ever. That even the winner of that election, Yaradua, had to come out publicly to say the process that brought him to power was fraudulent. He was going to change he didn't resign, he said he was going to change the process before he died. Then he died. And, his deputy continued. So today, Obasanjo is almost 90. He's a very old man. And right before his very eyes, the same contraption, like Nigeria, they fought and bled people in order to keep together, is all faltering away right now. And somehow, he probably internally, maybe he has his own personal regret, but openly, he doesn't seem to realize that this whole contraption is falling apart. And it's just a matter of time before everything scatters. That same meeting or that same gathering, Tambua, the man that bankrupted Sokoto State, bailed out a few times by Wike, which happened to be one of the reasons why Wike is really weary right now. Do you understand? Tambua, he was also there at that gathering. In fact, some people are already pushing Peter B. Tambua 2027. Okay. You know, he was there too to give his own think pieces about this democracy. Meanwhile, Obasanjo was talking something, before we go into that, Obasanjo was talking something about what, you know, the democracy that is like African, you know, about what we stand for, what we believe in. And I'm like, what do you really stand for as Nigerians? Is there something that any of you can tell me, okay, is the Nigeria dream? Okay, maybe there is Nigerian dream. Nigerian dream is that of a boy that was caught stealing. And then his mother called him and said, do you know where you are going to end if you continue this way? All this petty stealing, thieving and all that, lying. Do you know where you're going to end up? And the boy said, Nigeria National Assembly. So maybe that is the dream of an average Nigerian, you know, like Turn by Turn Nigeria Limited, on how to get closer to this cake and devour it as much as you can for yourself and your family, of course, you know, because there is nothing that you can say, okay, this will be the national goal that everybody who is part of Nigeria can relate to it. Say, I can relate with this one. Oh, well, I think this makes sense. This is what makes us Nigerians. We are one. Look at us now. See, there is nothing. There is nothing. As much as people are creating their own imaginary united unity, something, you know, diversity, whatever. It's not real. You know, it's not real. And so the likes of Obasanjo and co should understand something that is real. And what is that? For every ethnic nationality that is part of that contraption today, people are more loyal to their own tribe or ethnic nationality than they are to Nigeria. That's a statement of fact. There is no patriotic Nigeria anywhere. You tell me. Eh? There is, me, I am not patriotic Nigerian. As much as I am not enemy of Nigeria, though, because the real enemies of the people are those who are supposed to, you know, build a strong, united, prosperous, safe country for all of us to live in. Those are the people who have now, you know, looted everything, scattered everything, and ruined people's lives with no regrets. I haven't done anything to hurt Nigeria than what Nigeria has taken from me just because of my association by birth. You know, I wish, you know, you wish you and like you could choose where to be born or who to become, right? So rather than I have not done anything wrong to Nigeria and I don't intend to. Sure you get, because the people who are destroying Nigeria, they are doing the job already. So we just need to educate the people who they are hurting, and that is you, to understand that the more support you give to them or defense you give to them, the longer you are prolonging, the longer you probably are pushing your own sufferings. Because the real enemies of the people are those who have the chance of turning our lives around. But they did turn our lives around. But it was like to the left, or I don't know, maybe like to the south or something. You know? So Tambuwa, one of them, also has something. He had something to say.
It has more to do with the operators. I'll give you an example. Here in this room, seated, is former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Under his regime, state of emergency was declared in a number of states. The National Assembly, then we had Senator President of the Senate, and of course, Senator Ken Namani and Secretary Mark. They all worked. And then, of course, Speaker Masari was also Speaker of the House of Representatives, Speaker Ete and Bangla and myself at the point. We all ensured that to vet majority of members of both chambers passed the emergency in those times.
By 2/3, each member had to vote.
Each member had to vote. And you know that Parliament is guided by the Constitution, by its rules, and by precedents. In this same National Assembly, we have the same Constitution in a way, under Section 05. It has not been amended since the commencement of the democracy. We have our standing rules, and we have precedents of how 2/3 were able to be established in those instances where emergency was declared in Plateau, emergency was declared in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. And we stopped by them and were guided by the Constitution. What happened in the last week? So I still insist that you need to check out the operators of the system.
Check them out. Right before their very eyes. Up to this moment, I have not seen, or we have not heard from number one, PDP. In Turkey, right? There is this protest going on in Turkey. I don't know if some of you have seen it, right? And what caused the protest? The president of Turkey, Erdogan, or what's his name again? Erdogan, right? Is said to have arrested an opposition leader, okay? An opposition leader, right? On trumped-up charges. And guess what? Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of their own party, the party members, plus their own supporters, the normal people who are Turkish, they have been staging endless, massive protests in Istanbul. You must have seen that online. In Nigeria. Sometimes you have to wonder, when you see these people, for example, APC, Labour, when you see them during the campaigns, right, you get to see loads of people around them, and you're like, this must be people, even if they pay them to come around for their campaigns, right? Not Labour, because I know those ones don't pay anybody. Even if they were paid to come around, right? Somehow, they must still be those who really want to be there, kind of. If Tinubu removed a governor, a PDP governor, everybody has been speaking, think pieces, giving an idea, telling us how illegal it is. Well, I think PDP, that was once the party in power, is unable to mobilize 100,000 people in Nigeria. They are unable to mobilize 1 million people. Because Tinubu breached the constitution, right? And that is something that is not anything that should just go like that. There must be some consequences. Akpabioli and co, they broke the law by using voice votes to pass the proposal of to a state of an emergency. And everybody knows that that's wrong. Everybody's just talking about it. And I'm like, if PDP is unable, you have PDP governors. So if PDP and the House of Representatives, House of Assembly, National Assembly, State Assembly, Labour Party, governors, and all of that, so right, if they are unable as opposition to actually remind the APC, that Nigeria belongs to all of them, not just to this Tinubu and his gang. I don't understand though. What kind of opposition do you have in that place? For real? Okay, I think Ken Okonkwo pretty much said it better.
I want to start with this. A lot of people have been making a mistake saying the National Assembly approved what President Ahmed Bola did. Sorry. Strictly speaking, they rejected it. They did not approve it at all, strictly speaking. And here is the point. The Constitution is very clear. Section 305, subsection 1, said the president can issue or declare a state of emergency in a proclamation that is stated in a gazette, meaning the proclamation issuance is complete with the president before going to the National Assembly. In subsection 2, the Constitution said the president should transmit copies of already published, already proclaimed state of emergency with the details of the proclamation to the National Assembly for the National Assembly to approve or not approve. Here is the point. The details of the purported proclamation of state of emergency by Tinubu is that he is suspending the governor of Rivers State and the House of Assembly members, and that the sole administrator whom he has appointed, one Ibok Ete Ibas, a military man, you can put retired if you want, that the man will make laws and he, Tinubu, will be the one to approve of the laws. And when he did that, it was published, it was proclaimed, it was complete. When it came to National Assembly, their duty is either to approve it and the details, and I'm talking about section 305, subsection 2, or reject it. They don't have any power whatsoever to amend it, because it is not a bill as contemplated by section 58 or an appropriation bill as contemplated by section 81. These are bills which the National Assembly have the right to amend and before it becomes an act. But in a proclamation of a state of emergency, it is already completed as a law, gazetted and published before going to the National Assembly. So the role of the National Assembly is to either accept or reject. Now, what did the National Assembly do? They selfishly recovered their own power from the president by force, because not by law. They say, Mr. President, you don't have the right to make law for Rivers State. The right belongs to us. So they purportedly said they amended it to recover their own power. Sorry, you have already rejected the entire state of emergency, because it's either you accept the proclamation and the details or you reject. That is what the law says. And let me come again to it. Section 58 of the Constitution made it clear. Section 56 of the Constitution made it clear that the House, the National Assembly, if there is any question that comes for decision, they can approve it with the required majority. They use the word required majority of those present and voting. In this case, by section 305, subsection 6b, the required majority is 2/3. And the National Assembly does not have the 2/3. And they showed it openly. If they had it, they would have told us about it. 2/3 is not measured by voice vote. Why? They said those present and voting. Did you see when the Speaker of the House was talking? They did not show the members who were even doing the voice vote. They showed only the Speaker. You know why? They don't have the required majority. And now, they said present and voting. The people that have absented themselves from voting, how many are they? Because you can be present and not voting. How do you determine that? By voice vote. So sorry, there's nothing like voice vote. When the Constitution said 2/3, you must tell us the number of people present and show it to us. You must tell us the number of the people that voted and show it to us. You must tell us the number of the people that absented from voting or abstained from voting. You will tell us, and the people that voted against. None of this is determinable by a voice vote. I am making a negative assertion that they did not do anything, and I have nothing to prove. They that are making the positive assertion in law are the ones that have the onus to prove that they secured the 2/3 majority. That has not been approved. So both in substance, by which they amended the state of emergency and cherry-picked the one that concerned them, they have destroyed the state of emergency. There is no room for amendment. It is just like taking a law to the president by the National Assembly, and the president, when he wants to assent to it, say, no, I don't like section 2, I'm amending it. After amending it myself, I will sign it. No. So the Constitution did not give the National Assembly any right to cherry pick the one they want and leave the one they don't want. It's either they are accepting all or they are dropping all. Having cherry picked, they rejected the entire state of emergency. Let me talk about the legality or constitutionality of what President Ahmed Bola Tinubu did. Sorry, he did not declare state of emergency in Rivers. He declared martial law. What he did was a coup against the Rivers people.